You've chosen to do the additional topic, finding extrema, maximums and minimums with the power rule. This is a topic that will be more discussed in calculus. Here's some trivia for this. When f prime of x has a positive y value, f of x is increasing. When f prime of x has a negative y value, f of x is decreasing. So here's the power rule. If f of x equals x to the nth power, then f prime of x, the derivative, equals n times x to the n minus 1 power. Let's look at an example. F of x equals 3 times x squared minus 6x plus 7. F prime of x equals 3 times 2 to the x to the 2 minus 1 power minus 6 times 1 times n x to the 1 minus 1 power plus 7 times 0 times x to the 0 minus 1 power. So f prime of x equals 6 times x minus 6 times x to 0 plus 0. Well, anything to the 0 power is 1. We just have a plus 0 here. So our first derivative is equal to 6x minus 6. So we're going to set the first derivative equal to 0 to find the x part of the vertex. That's our axis of symmetry, by the way. So 0 equals 6x minus 6. We'll do the steps to get x by itself. Add 6, divide 6, x equals 1. So you're going to evaluate f of 1 to find the y part of the vertex. So we plug that in. F of 1 equals 3, parentheses 1, close parentheses squared, minus 6, parentheses 1, close parentheses, plus 7. If you put that in the calculator, or if you solve it by hand, you'll get f of 1 equals 4. So the vertex is 1, 4. And since a equals 3, and 3 is positive, this vertex is a minimum. So if you were to graph it, it would look kind of like that. Okay, let's look at the second example. We have f of x equals 3x squared minus 12x plus 1. Let's find the first derivative. So to do that, we use the power rule. So 3 times 2 to the x 2 minus 1 power minus 12, and the exponent of x is just 1, x to the 1 minus 1, and then plus 1 times 0, x to the 0 minus 1. So that's just 0, so we don't have to write that again. 3 times 2 is 6, so 6x to the first power minus 12, and x to the 0 power is just 1. So let's set that equal to 0 to find our axis of symmetry. Add 12 to each side of the equal sign. Carry down the 6x. Let's divide by 6 to get the x by itself. And so x is going to equal 2. We'll plug that back in to get our y part. We're plugging back into the original equation. So f of 2, wherever we see a 2, we're going to replace it with a parentheses 2. So we have 3 times 4 minus 24 plus 1. So 12 minus 24 plus 1. It's negative 12 plus 1. That equals negative 11. So our vertex is 2, negative 11. A equals 3, and 3 is positive, so it's a minimum. If A was negative, it would be a maximum. Okay, turn over to the back. Let's do one more together. Let's do number 10. F of x equals negative 3x squared plus 18x plus 2. Let's find the first derivative using the power rule. So f prime of x equals negative 3 times 2 times x to the 2 minus 1 power plus 18 times 1 times x to the 0th power. And then the 2 is just times 0, it's gone. So negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. We have x, the first power, and then plus 18. Set it equal to 0 to find our axis of symmetry. So we set our first derivative equal to 0, or negative 6x plus 18. Let's add the 6x to the other side. Carry down that 18. To get x by itself, we want to divide by what is in front of it. The coefficient is 6. So 1x equals 3. So our axis of symmetry is 3. To find the y part, we're going to plug it back into the original equation. So f of 3 equals negative 3. Instead of x, we're going to put 3 squared plus 18. Instead of x, we'll put 3 plus 2. So 9 times negative 3, negative 27. 27 plus 2, that's 29. So our y part is 29. A equals negative 3, so it's going to be a max. Try the rest of these problems on your own or with a partner.